to stay with those 9. We
Right.
can do anything that you really feel drawn to, and it might give you an opportunity to share something about that group that you can tell other people about.
Mm-hmm.
On the Facebook group, we can post what we're doing. We can post, any issues that we're having, maybe helpful hints for people. That's what we use the Facebook group for.
We can,
Now,
and we
each
should
of
use
these.
a hashtag too, so that we can all
Oh,
keep
I'm sorry.
track.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the hashtag is
The use the so
so
for
for
good.
good
Yeah. I
2021.
couldn't remember if we said sewing or so. So.
Yeah, I know. I had the same problem when I typed it in. So for good 2021. Many of these organizations, these and then other ones that you might find, they're usually organized if they're big enough to have a national, and most of these have some sort of international focus. They
Mhm.
usually have like local contacts. Now, for example, the Ryan, a case for Ryan has where they make pillows for local hospitals. They have local contacts where they have local hospitals that they're working with. So you might need to find who that local contact is as when you're ready to send them on. So we have on that spreadsheet, we have the links to each of those organizations, and maybe we can do Facebook posts. I don't know if anyone's going to have trouble bringing up that spreadsheet. If you do, let us know, then we can just post those individual links.
And
And
anybody who's in the UK or New Zealand or Jerusalem or wherever you are, you can choose a local charity of your own there. You don't have to do just US ones. I put those because they were the most familiar to me. And I guess what we haven't said is that this is a challenge that's going to go for the month of August. We didn't really get to the crux of it. I
no,
think
we
we
didn't,
tried
not
to
yet.
when they couldn't see us. So
Right.
just wanted to say that. And then I'll talk about some of the challenge part of it after.
Okay. Okay. So everyone, once you'll have to find the contacts and how you're going to hand them off, or perhaps you're going to have to mail them to someone. Uh, so you're going to keep track of it that way. You might want to keep track of what your purchase, what supplies that you've purchased, because and keep track of receipts and all. I don't know whether it's tax deductible where you are, but you might want to keep track of that when you do your taxes. Also, remember you can ask for donations. A lot of people that don't have magic talents like ours to sew might want to help you. So think about that. Maybe your church, people that you know, your neighbors, your family, either have fabric or maybe they want to give you some money to help you buy supplies. They can feel like they're a part of the project. You might also find you can have family and friends help you cut things out. I know with the mass production, a lot of people had families cutting out pieces, and not just doing the actual sewing part. So I'll let Kim talk about the actual contest. You can talk about the actual how we're going to run it.
Sure. Um,
Okay.
Basically, it's a challenge. It's not really a contest. And I do have a
Okay.
couple prizes already, even though it's not, we're not doing it for the prize. I think everybody knows that. But prizes are fun, let's face it. So I do have at least one prize from Love Notions, and I have a couple of prizes from my jewelry shop, and I have a couple other contacts out there to have just some fun stuff. And it's not going to be a question of whoever makes the most or anything like that. It's just whoever participates at all, one entry per person, and we'll just celebrate our giveaway at the end of August and see how much good we did for other people. And you don't have to choose those 9 charities, like she said. You can do anything that is on your heart, even if it's a family that has nothing in your area and you want to sew for their children. That would even count. Anything that is something that you're doing for the good of others outside of your family, I think would count. Would you agree that?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of kids. maybe for I know local organizations will, especially for back to school, they gather supplies for. I know our local food bank does that. They collect supplies for back to school backpacks.
Hmm.
So you might want to think about making pencil cases.
Oh, what a great idea.
Yeah, the one I think it was Operation Christmas Child. They talked about drawstring bags
Hmm.
that you can make because kids like that. There's a lot of patterns out there for drawstring bags that have the straps that go over. Pencil cases,
Hmm.
little tote bags for to carry library books in, especially if you have fabric that's maybe book related.
Hmm.
That might be really fun. Yeah, so anything you can be whatever comes to your mind, you might just find, you might find something that really will, um, if something that you can really make and participate in. So, I
Another.
don't know.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just
No,
gonna.
I was just going back to the list. So I'm going to be quiet now.
It's all right. You can go back to the list. Um, I was just gonna say. So, in order to have your name, in the hat, so not so much for the prizes, but so that we can count. I think it would be so cool to say, we made 500 things for charity, as a group. That would just feel so good. So, in order for that to be in the count and to be in the giveaway, you just need to post on the Facebook group with that hashtag. And if somebody's watching this and you're not a part of our Facebook group, it's in the description. I'll make sure it's in the description of this video, as it is in every one of my videos, but I'll double check that it's in this one. And you can click on there and join our Facebook group. And I monitor that pretty much daily to allow new people in. Be sure you answer the membership questions, because that's the only way I have of making sure that I'm not allowing robots into our group, and that it's all sewing people and not troublemakers. So I've had to turn a couple people away because they didn't give me any indication of the answers to the questions. And what I do is, if you've not answered the questions, then I look and I see that you're a member of Love Notions and Ellie Mac, and and then I know you're a sewing person, so I just give the benefit of the doubt. But if you are not, just please answer the questions if you're not a member of our Facebook group, so I can get you in right away and you can participate. I don't know of any other way to run it except in our Facebook group. I know we could do Instagram, but that would get very large, and since this is the first time we've ever done anything like this, I'd like to keep it just to our little group. So maybe next year. So we were thinking about Christmas time, except everyone is so busy at Christmas, so we thought this would be a better time of year.
Exactly.
So.
Exactly. Do you want to talk about the individual? I mean, I know the last time you did go through them.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I will, for the benefit of anybody that's not able to see that list yet.
That would be good.
These are just a starting point. We'd love to hear what kinds of things that your local parent school group, local church group, what kind of things that you're working on. Let's hear. I just as a side note, I remember back this time last year when masks became the thing. And I was kind of amazed at the number of YouTube videos that popped up of people showing everyone, how, because there was a need, because people really needed to make the masks. So, boy, everyone really pitched in, and so it is kind of amazing what we can do.
The sewing machine salesman would tell you that they couldn't even get their hands on a machine. That's how many people were making masks. Yeah.
Not only that, I mean, they're so backed up that because people all of a sudden were digging, and they were digging sewing machines out of the closets, and trying to get them to run, because people were not only was it just something you wanted to do for charity or for someone else, because we had a real need. So some of these organizations, as I spent some time over the last couple of days really reading and looking at their websites, I was really impressed. Really impressed. So just again, I'll just go over this briefly, but the Ryan's Case for Smiles is one of the two. I think there's another one that asks for pillowcases. But Ryan's Case for Smiles is a group that started to honor a little boy named Ryan who had been hospitalized. I believe it was before cancer. But the idea was to make pillowcases for kids that were in the hospital. So you want to pick, especially, and you don't have to spend a lot of money, but if you go, especially if you're at Walmart or Joann's and you see on the clearance table cotton or cotton polyester fabrics that are appropriate for kids, pick those up. They do ask that you watch using anything with glitter. This is probably a good thing for all of these. Avoid glitter, so things with a lot of glitter in it, and also avoid things with a lot of red fabric. Unless you're gonna be able to pre-wash that out, because they don't want things to run, especially if it's going to be in the hospital.
Right. They don't want it to disguise bleeding either.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So be careful with that. That's one of the reasons why you really do have to go to the website and these sites and read what their recommendations are. They're not trying to put limits on you, but they are trying to make it so it's usable. Those pillowcases, if you've ever seen them, that's where the patterns will give you the burrito method. So you do that burrito method of putting that cuff on it. And you can use about 1/3 of a yard for that border and about 3/4 of a yard of the main fabric. So just like I said, just be careful of using anything that might, especially kids with respiratory problems can't have it on the glitter. But they give you a pattern and instructions on that website. The next one was Project Linus. And everyone knows the Charles Schulz Peanuts cartoons, and one of the characters was Linus. And the unique thing about Charlie Brown's friend Linus is he always had his blanket with him, his blanket. So this organization provides blankets. I believe it's to a lot of different organizations, but I know they work with a lot of social agencies, police forces, EMTs that might need, and homeless shelters. There's just a wide breadth of places that can use these to give to children that are in some sort of crisis or transition time. It gives them something permanent that belongs to them. And you know why blankets are important? I had a blankie that I carried around the neighborhood, according to my mother. But that's something that they can hold, they can touch, and that becomes theirs and uniquely theirs alone. So they're pretty simple on the Project Linus one. There wasn't a lot of, they do have examples. That can be also crochet or knit. Doesn't necessarily have to be sewn, but a lot of us can make, little baby blankets that you make out of either fleece or flannel or minky, right? So minky fabrics, the real soft fabrics, or even, you guys know, minky can get pretty expensive, but when you put a border around with that satin border finish, babies and children love to touch that. So Project Linus is another one that wouldn't require a lot of skill to do those blankets. Charlotte's Purpose is the one that I guess I may have heard about that, but this one I think is pulling me because it is for to give to parents of stillborn babies that allows them to dress that baby in a beautiful little gown, so that they can have whatever they've decided to have as their memorial or their grief process. Right. So it's a beautiful way to wow, if you've experienced that in your family, this can really touch you. Anyway, Charlotte's Purpose, they will use, you don't have to use wedding gowns, but they do often use wedding gowns. And a lot of people choose to use a wedding gown and I've got a wedding gown that's tucked away in my closet that my mother made me. I had 2 boys, so they didn't wear wedding gowns. And I have 2 daughter-in-laws that did not, of course, want my wedding gown. So it's never going to go anywhere. In fact, my mother made a christening gown for her future great grandbabies. So out of that fabric. So I'm going to use my wedding gown.
I actually
Uh,
just reminded me that I have several in the basement that I used to use for photo shoots.
oh,
I
okay,
didn't even think about
okay,
that. Yeah.
yeah. So
I
there's a
think I
there's
still have
a
them, unless my husband threw them out, which is possible.
oh. So the thing with the wedding gowns, though, they're not going to be laundered. These are for a memorial. And some families actually go through, where they actually might have a burial. But these wedding gowns are not going to be washed. They don't need to be stable, and they have several patterns that you can use. A one that's very simple and one that's a little more intricate. So you can use these, and they will connect you with a local contact, so that you can provide these for your local hospitals or local areas. So that one I think I'm going to be looking into. That one was really pulling me. Okay, another one that I found interesting was Operation First Response. And they are an organization that provides backpacks to wounded military that are in combat hospitals. So anyone coming back, and they provide these. Now they're looking for blankets also to go into these backpacks. They're saying a cot size of 45 by 45 or 36 by 36. So 1 yard by 1 yard square, um, or 45 by 45. So if a normal width of fabric is 44 inches, if you put a border around it, that's where you get your 45 inches. So that's what they're looking at. You would use, so 36 and 9, that's probably 1.25 yards of fabric you would take for the larger one. The 36 one would just be 1 yard. And then you can, they would use these for, they're saying cot size. So they would sit on like a lap rug, although that's not what they called it. The next one, and then there's two that are similar. I am familiar with the Dress a Girl Around the World, not so much only by name on the Little Dresses for Africa. Both of these organizations do similar things, although they are independent, and I'm not quite sure. I didn't read enough to figure out the exact differences of them, but they provide dresses, and also the Little Dresses for Africa also provides pants, little boys' pants. And one of the reasons is in some of these villages, and places around the world, little girls are not protected, and they could actually be, fall prey to human traffickers. But having a dress makes you, if a little girl has a dress on, it means that they are not only protected, they're loved, and they're cared for. They Now I know Little Dresses or Dress a Girl Around the World actually will provide you with labels that you can sew on. And the labels, they say, are also important because it shows that they're under the care of an organization, and they're also not as likely to fall prey to being victimized by human traffickers. I believe they also had iron-on labels that they can put on them. So now they had some. Again, all of these organizations had local contacts for you to contact, and you want to do that because you want to find out what their needs are. They might have specific needs of different sizes or different types of things that they want. You can contact them, and I know when we were doing this with our guild group, they wanted to make sure that you didn't use if you use lace, you didn't want it to be lace that was nylon that might melt. So you need to be very careful about some of those things. And in some of these things, you want to think through. You want to pre-wash your fabric because you don't want it to shrink after they've actually bought it. So in some of these cases, you want to pay attention to that. Little Dresses for Africa was very similar. And they, both of these also ask for donations for help with their shipping. They have, on the Little Dresses for Africa, they had patterns for the pillowcase dresses, which are the ones that have a gather across the bodice and then straps. But they also had patterns for t-shirt dresses. So you could buy a child-sized T-shirt and then add a skirting at the bottom to make them a regular dress. And again, they also had a pack. Those were free. The Dresser Girl Around the World had several simplicity patterns that you could, that you can use, and they had their own patterns which were that you could purchase and buy from them. Let me see. I think we have two more on here, three more. The So Powerful Purse Program. And there's another organization that I'm familiar with that a friend of mine sews for called Days for Girls.
Mm-hmm.
This So Powerful Purse Program, you make the purses. It's a fabric purse that goes crossbody. And what it does is it gives a place for them to store their sanitary pads. Because I think Kim mentioned this before, if these little girls are trying to go to school, they won't be allowed in school if they're on their monthly cycles.
Right.
So now this organization is looking for you to make the purses, and then they actually have the women in it's Zambia. They have the women there in the villages make the pads that go into the purses. So they're looking for people to make the purses, and they had two different sizes of purses to make. I didn't get the exact measurements on how much fabric you'd need, but the purses were not that big. So I would think probably a half yard of fabric for one of these would probably suffice. The program that I mentioned called Days for Girls is similar in its intent. They're looking for they also sew products, but I believe they actually sew some of the sanitary products that they use. The next to the last one was Operation Smile, and now that's the one I don't have much information on, Kim. When I looked up to see what types of sewing projects they needed,
they had a page of them, and they were different. Based on because it used to be, I think, that they just fixed like cleft palate and things like that.
Right.
But now I think they've expanded it to other surgeries. So I'm not really sure, but there's a page on their website. It's kind of hard to find. That has like the things, but I'm sure that if you contacted the organization, they'd point you to the right thing. If that's what pulls at your heartstrings.
Reach out to them and explain that we're looking for information on what kinds of things they would need and maybe what they recommend. If they can recommend a pattern like a simplicity, one of those ones, especially that I know we can get for 99 cents at Joann's. I know in the United States we can. I know you guys that are from other places don't have that, but
for a little while we couldn't, and then they started doing it again. They blocked it for a little while, and then Hobby Lobby started, and then Joann started again.
Yeah. So I will see if I can get some more information on that, and if I do, I'll post it for anyone that's interested in that. That sounds like that's something that I guess is on my list, is I would love to volunteer for an organization like that, as a nurse. That would be kind of fun. Okay, and the last one was Operation Christmas Child, that they create shoe boxes to give as gifts to children around the holidays. And in this, what I saw in here was some of their suggestions were pencil cases. Again, that's where I saw the idea of the drawstring bags, little library bags. Whatever you make, they seemed very open to taking whatever kinds of craft items that you come up with, that they will put, because all of the boxes are apparently unique. This is not, every box is the same. Every box is a little unique. They look for pillowcase dresses also. So, if you go in here and you find a local group that's working on that, because many times you'll find local groups that are working, or they'll have a project day. You can look to see what kinds of things they're making. So they seemed really open. They just want it to be small enough that it'll fit in that shoebox, and of course they want to put other things in that shoebox. So they used an example of, well, if you rolled it up and smushed it together, if it would be smaller than a quart-size mayonnaise jar. That's what they use to envision,
That's good.
how big you want it, because then they can tuck other things in to these boxes to make it a surprise.
A
So
drawstring bag they could put things inside of.
yes, yes,
And that would be could be boys or girls because dresses are just
exactly.
for girls. I always think when I pack my shoe boxes, I always think of the boys because everybody wants to
Everybody,
buy the
yeah,
cute little
does.
girl stuff, and
Right.
yeah, the older boys especially.
Now you do need to watch. Again, depending on the organization, that's why you want to try to contact someone when you start, because a lot of them, I know the Dress a Girl Around the World, they were very specific. They didn't want you to not have any holiday symbols. They didn't want any religious symbols. They didn't want any writing on it, because depending
Right.
on where these went to, they would be inappropriate. So you just need to be
Or
careful
could put
when
them
you're.
in danger, even.
Yes, you just
Yeah.
need to be really careful of, because we don't really know. I don't know the villages that they might be ending up going to. So you just want to be very careful. And if you could reach out and contact someone and say you're going to work on this, then they might be able to give you guidelines on what they specifically are going to be able to send. So um, I don't know. I hope everybody's excited about this as I am.
I am very excited about it.
Yeah,
I,
yeah.
I want to do something with my grandkids. I want to have like the three big girls come
Ah,
over and spend the night, and we can spend a day just making one thing, whatever we choose. I'm sort of drawn toward drawstring backpacks, and
yeah.
my grandkids' pack boxes are usually my husband and I end up packing them with them. That's what we do is we'll take all six grandkids and do six boxes, and that's our donation. So I'd love to, the kids already understand Operation Christmas Child, so and both of our churches do it, so I think that they could relate to that. So that's probably what I'm going to do. Although I may just ask the kids what tears at their heart, and see if there's
Oh,
something else they'd
yeah.
rather do. But I want to make it a project that I do with my grandkids. So
Oh, that sounds nice.
yeah,
Yeah, that sounds really nice. It's gonna work. Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun.
yeah.
Yeah, especially if they take part in it,
Mhm.
because it teaches them that they are able to give back
Mhm.
to someone else,
Mhm.
um, and I think that's an important lesson to teach. Sorry, my phone's telling me it's going to die, so that's what I'm
Uh
doing.
oh.
Okay, I'm plugging in.
That's okay.
Okay.
Now you know what I go through.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. I don't
I
know,
just
everyone. I'm
Dad and
just
I
a
got on
worker.
this morning and we had every single issue ironed out. I swear.
So I don't
I
know.
have
I'm
no
just
idea.
impressed with her. She's there. Oh, I'm going to reload this and I'm going to connect this. This needs to be muted, and I was just amazed. Um, yeah,
But we got there eventually.
we did. We did. We did. Yeah,
Ay
very
ay
nice.
ay.
So so I wonder what everyone's going to work on.
Yeah, you guys have questions for Dot or questions about the challenge, or if you're just joining us in the middle, the challenge is going to go from the month of August, and it's basically just a participation challenge. We want you to post what you've made. We want to just celebrate our sewing abilities and being able to help someone. And there will be a couple little prizes. Don't think too grand or anything, but there'll be a few little things. But it won't be like to the one who does the most, because that's not what this is about. This is
No.
just about participating. So it'll just be everybody who participates will get their name thrown into a hat, and the prizes are just. I realize it's not why we're doing it, so they're just for fun. But I would love to be able to say that we made 300 pillowcases and 50
Right.
purses and whatever, 3 layettes for babies, and because they take a little more time or whatever. So
Right.
I mean, who
Right.
knows what the number will be? I may be dreaming in that much, but you never know.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of sort of organizations do that. They always take that picture where they have like all of the things that they made, and they show
Mm-hmm.
everyone that worked on them. We won't be able to do that, unfortunately, because we're spread out all over the world. But
Well, we can do it in a video. If you
yeah. Oh yeah, you're gonna
send me
do
a
a
little
video.
video clip on the Facebook group, and at the end we'll put together. I'll take all those clips and put them together, clips, pictures, whatever, and put them to music, and just put them up as one of the videos of the channel, and just to celebrate it.
And everyone will be able to say they participate in
Yeah,
the first Dorothy's Daughter
that's
challenge.
right. That's right. I hope this is something we'll do um, every year. I hope.
It would be nice.
Yeah, that would be really fun. I know it's uh, really. I was blown away by the comments on the Facebook group for the video. People that shared how certain organizations had moved them, and how participating in like a auxiliary group and doing that, how much it had blessed them. And I thought, we can't just let that go. We gotta just get involved. So I hope you don't
Right.
mind me dragging you guys along with me, but I really want to get involved in this a little bit. So, oh, that's awesome,
So
Michelle.
we said we're going to do it for August 1st to August 31st,
Correct.
right?
Mm-hmm. And then, in order for us to see, because we can't possibly see every message on the Facebook group or every comment, use the hashtag SoForGood 2021. It's right under there, and you'll be able to we'll be able to find it that way, so we can have all the information and put together. So pictures, video clips. If you do what I'm doing with your grandkids, take some video of
Yeah,
them.
tell us how you're getting the kids
Yeah.
involved. That
Get
would
the
really be
kids to speak, and we'll put together a video. By submitting something, I'm assuming, I'm going to go on the record here. By submitting something for the for this, pictures or video, I'm assuming that's your permission to use them. So
yeah.
if you don't want your face in a video, don't put it on there. Just put text. So,
Okay.
or you could put it on there, but just say please don't share or whatever. That's fine too.
Mm.
So.
So
Um,
Michelle just posted about all making masks for local schools. That sounds like a great thing, because
that
it
is awesome
sounds
too,
like a
because
lot of schools are still going to require the kids to wear
yeah,
masks. So,
and
uh,
regardless of how, there's all over the spectrum and feelings about that, but if it warms
yeah,
your heart, that's okay by me.
right. They
That's
got to
all that
wear them.
matters.
They might as well have cute ones to
That's
wear.
right. The politics of that
Right.
doesn't matter. If the kids have to wear
Right.
them, then we're going to make them cute ones.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly. Um,
all right. So, anyway, I'm very excited, and I'm so thrilled to have one of you guys, to have Dot come up and help me with this. It was a whim I had when I mentioned if anybody wants to help me, because for once in my life, I knew I could not take on another thing.
yeah.
You guys know
Yeah.
what I'm talking about. If
Right.
you're a mom or grandma and sewing and da, 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 you know that, like, I knew I could not organize that myself, not alone anyway. So thank you, Dot, very much for
Oh, excited to be a part of it.
yeah, thank you so much
Yeah.
for. She emailed me and said if no one has stepped up yet, I would love to do it. So I'm thrilled about that.
That's
So
always my go-to as well. If nobody else signs up, then I will.
yeah,
Which my
could get you
husband
into
always,
trouble.
my husband always tells me, now you're going to do it because no one else is going to. So
Yeah.
yeah,
There's a
exactly.
little wisdom there.
Right. Right. Well, anyway, this is such a fun group, and I wouldn't feel comfortable doing this with anyone but Kim, because she really made me
Aw,
feel like
thank you
this
so
was
much.
an okay thing. Yeah, exactly.
Thank you so much.
Exactly. Yeah. We went
Well,
almost an hour. Wow.
yeah, we
Before
did.
we
Well,
got
we got
started.
started a little late, so that's
Okay.
okay. But we can talk about, anybody have regular questions or regular things they want to chat about, that's fine too. Um, I'm hoping in the near future, this worked, although we have some kinks to work out, but I'm hoping to bring more special guests on. I sent an email to Jenny from Cashmerette to see if she would come
Uh-huh.
on and talk about her book. I don't know. Cross your fingers. Hope she answers me because that would be really fun if she would do that. And just I would love to have just different other and you guys. I would love to just have if you want to be online and just come on and show your makes or talk about something, just let me know because I think it would be really fun. And I think it's fun to see. I just one of the only thing I don't I don't like about the chats, I'm just going to be real here, is that all I see is my face and I want to see your faces. So, unfortunately, YouTube doesn't have the ability to do like Zoom. So, um, and Zoom doesn't have enough participants to do it that way. So, but we can definitely be uh, having people on one or two at a time. So now that we know how to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you figured it out, but um yeah,
Oh
this
no, her
way
husband was over there helping too. He was the peanut gallery this morning.
yeah, he was. That's true.
That was a pretty good peanut gallery. You can tell him that
Yeah.
was okay.
Okay. I will. I will.
So
He's ready and willing to help.
yeah, yep. So is there any questions about anything? And I see Nancy said, how would you want us to submit our entry? One picture and or one video. Doesn't matter whatever you want to submit, but just make sure you use that hashtag So for Good 2021. And I'm not going to share it I've thought about sharing it on Instagram, but I'm just going to keep it to our little group for now. So if you're online and you've come across this video and you want to participate, please join the Facebook group and you are more than welcome to participate. All right. It's not that we're trying to leave anybody out. I just don't want it to get too huge and have us not be able to keep up.
Right. Right.
So,
So if that spreadsheet, if you can open up that spreadsheet, the link is in the column off on the right. Um, you can click on that and it'll take you to that organization's website. And then we'll have to decide if we get other ones, if you want to provide a link to that organization's website, we'll just have to watch that and make sure that everything is, appropriate. And um, so,
I think
but
most things this
that's,
group would come up with would be, but we'll still check them out. So,
yeah.
for everybody's benefit. So,
Yeah.
all right. Would you guys have sewing questions or anything? Anybody sewing anything fun? I know I'm gonna go a little over because we didn't get started on time. All right. When I think of a group of people to do this with, I cannot think of a better group. I just can't. You guys are amazing. When I was sick, I cannot believe how amazing you were for me. My heart is forever etched to you, ladies. I'm telling you. I'm gonna cry, but you are the best. I mean it. Hi, Kathy. I'm gonna post this whole thing because we Dot just spent an hour explaining it. So in short, it is a challenge that's going to go for the month of August, and it is going to be sewing for charity. And I'm going to post actually the whole chat like I usually do, but I'm also going to pull out just and clean up the sections about that. So it's just one video just about that. And that way, if anybody wants to rewatch that part, you can feel free to do that. So,
Okay.
all right. Okay. Well, I guess I'll let you guys go if you don't have any questions or anything. I think my husband put my lasagna in the oven. I can smell it.
Ooh.
Guys, when I'll come over.
That sounds good.
Yeah, it does.
Our
It
neighbor
does.
brought over some fish that he caught yesterday, so I think that's what we're having tonight.
That sounds yummy too.
Fish, but fish is always my husband's job, is to cook the fish. So our neighbor debones it and stuff. So it is really good.
That
But
is
you never
fun.
know when he's coming. He just knocks on the door and says, "Hey, I got fish for you today."
Oh, and you can
So,
start sewing now. You don't have to wait till August 1st. I mean, we'll just
oh,
do the reporting from August 1st to August 31st. If you're,
right,
you
right.
can sew now.
You don't
I
want to
don't think
hold
there's
anybody
any
back.
problem with that.
You don't want to hold
So,
anybody back.
I'm excited too, Nancy. Um, let's see, what else was I going to tell you? So next week, as far as I know, chat should be at the regular time on Sunday. Um, when families schedule things, it seems like Sunday ends up being a day that it just ends up happening. So um, my daughter had the party, and I totally forgot about it. I'll be honest with you. I forgot that it was going to be this past Sunday. I thought it was at the end of the month, and so did my husband. So about Thursday, we realized it, and I'm like, oh, I still have all this sewing to do. So I was booking it, sewing their gifts and everything, and then we had their little celebration yesterday, which was fun. And they just put a pool in, my daughter, so they were just really reveling and having people over in their pool, which is fun to see. So anyway, thank you so much for understanding the uh, having to move it, and also the little glitches in the beginning. It seems like I always have glitches in the beginning. One day, when I do try really hard and test everything, and no matter what I do, something goofs it up. So one day, one day you're gonna log on and you're gonna go, "Woo, that was slick." So now you know why I edit my videos.
Oh, that is a good idea.
Yes. So, all right. Well, I'm gonna let you all go, and I think everybody's pretty excited. So we'll be seeing you on the Facebook group, and I will see you in the next video. All right. Happy
Thanks.
sewing, everybody.
Bye.
Bye bye.